Hey, I'm Big B and I Brick, and let me know if you can hear me. Willett was not able to hear me earlier, then he could hear me, so we don't know what's going on with that. I might have to duck out and come back in order to make things work, but he might need to do the same. So we're waiting on you guys right now to tell me whether or not you can hear me. But also over here, we have Brick Willett in the house, as I was saying. Should have a couple other guests coming in. Hopefully, you guys will get the questions answered that you have. Fubrix can hear me, so it is a Willett. Go ahead. Can you hear me, Willett? No. All right, so everybody can hear me. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
I'm gonna hop off and come back in.
Cuckoo. So question in the chat was if Technic does sell, and yes, of course it does sell. Everything sells, and it's not necessarily a quantity of. It's a. Like I keep saying, it's a pairing with. It's a. It's how things are paired together. Yeah, I could hear Willett as well. Hopefully he can hear me now, and we're all good because I could hear him and you can hear me. But if he can't hear me, then it's going to be difficult because we're going to have to type to each other in the comments inside here, which will seem fairly ludicrous. As I type that in the comments right there, since you may not be able to hear me. And Adam is saying something about blue pins over tan pins, but actually the tan pins do sell better than the blue ones, although both of them sell quite well. But outside of just the tiny little Technic pins, I think that they're talking about other Technic items instead of just the pins and like the very small arms. So I'm talking about actual Technic pieces, not necessarily the just, you know, a small connector or axle or pin. So Willett, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I unplugged my mic. Now everything's working right.
Cool.
So
excellent. Mr. H is in the house, getting his YOLO on. Lots of people. Good to see folks coming in. Sorry we had the week off and stuff. It's just there's no way that I would be able to have been. There's no way I would have been able to be a good host to y'all while I was trying to do the whole BrickCon experience. Just was not gonna happen. And plus, I wanted to enjoy myself at BrickCon and not really be a sales guy. I wanted to just be a Lego guy. So that was fun. But if we can get to questions in the comments, that'd be cool. Hop on there, ask your questions. But the base of the show is going to be basics. And what are yours? And by basics, I mean, what are your customers looking for in your store? You have people that have shopped with you already. You want them back in. You've been parting out sets, and we all part out different stuff. So everybody's store is different. But by doing that, by choosing specific sets, you are putting specific items into your store, and you're taking yourself down one road or another. And you should know that and realize that as a seller, that the stuff that you're getting into that you say, oh, this is great, I'm gonna go get this. It's taking you down a road for people who are looking for these pieces and people who are looking for these pieces. And I'm constantly talking about pairing parts and putting one part with another. And that's what makes the sale, because most times people aren't just looking for one thing. They'll say they're looking for one thing, but they're really looking for a few. And if you happen to have the few items, you will be the person who makes the cut. About the wanted list, I did speak to Alex, the head developer from BrickLink, a couple weeks ago, and let him know about that they were using the wrong field in their queries, all their SQL queries, that they were using price for everything instead of using sale price. There is a drastic difference between the two. Price is what BrickLink accounting bills upon. Sale price is what you and I buy and sell upon. And for them to have everything calculated on price, it's not taking into consideration any sale that anyone's having. So the example that I gave him was that Sally's got something selling for nickel over here, and Guy has got it going for 8 cents. But Guy also has a 50% sale on his store, which takes the actual price down below Sally's. But when you go and look at the wanted list, when you organize by price even, BrickLink sees 5 cents cheaper than the 4 because they're basing everything on the wrong metric. And for them not to see that and not to realize what was going on gives me a bit of caution, because that means that whoever is testing their stuff doesn't have a clue, doesn't know how the shopping experience or the BrickLink experience actually works. And I was going to do an example of it. I had an order that I placed in Antarctica. It's about 28,000 elements. And for certain elements, the modified brick with stud on 1, 2, and 4 sides, I found 12 elements that I was looking for, white, black, gray, and gray, as well as headlight brown, headlight clear, and a couple other creator type of elements. Threw them on a wand list, and it repeatedly was giving me one store over all others, even though the one store did not have it at the lowest price. And even if I went cheapest, if I went closest, if any of the 3 magic options, none of them were working properly. And it gives me more pause that they actually have a calculation based upon shipping when they do not have a way to acknowledge what shipping costs. So it's sort of like they're throwing in a blank into the calculations, which throws out even more things. So if you don't have a way to discern what the shipping is going to be for someone's order, then how can you tell them how much they are saving or are not saving on their shipping when they're looking for stuff? So it's real cart before the horse type of stuff. They honestly need to get their basics fixed before moving on to other things. But what I was there to look at was the BrickLink version of Lego Digital Designer. I will be beta testing that. I'm going to talk to them about streaming some of the beta testing, so I can bring it to you guys as well. But that is off and to the side, non-seller related. But just know, if you're out there and you're using the BrickLink wanted list system, or you're even just sorting by price, be smarter than the system, and don't forget to just go to the core of the system and go look at the price guide. Price guide is the definitive, this is what it costs price outside of tiered, which really sucks that they don't have a way for you to calculate who has a value or who has a better deal on that, unless you go back to the wanted list. But there's a question in the comments, do you price match from other BrickLink stores? I personally do not, because other BrickLink stores have not spent the time and invested all of that into providing a variety. So there could be dude out there, and I know there's dudes out there with stuff from the New York City special build who've got 1x3 plates for $0.015, which is, sinking the ship on the price. They've got the part down the block from them. It's fairly exclusive to them. And there's no way I would match that. But they've only got 10 things in their store. So they've got 10 in their store, and I've got 9,400. So that's one of the reasons why I don't price matches, because a knowledgeable shopper can go and see how much extra money they're going to spend on shipping if they go and do that. That is one of the beauties of having a lot of stuff in your store, is being able to pick up those extra orders or those extra add-ons because of the selection you have, because of the savings that somebody is going to have on shipping. Let's see. Technic does sell very well with the GBCs and the roller coasters and the kinetic sculpture people and all that, but at the same time, they tend to care. They tend to give less poops about the color, because for them it's all in its function. It's form over the look. So you see a lot of orange, you see a lot of lime, you see a lot of colors that may not be preferred from other people, say as a mech or a tree builder. More of the crazy questions in the comments. Yeah, everything will sell well on BrickLink or BrickOwl if you have it paired with something else. There's no Firestone tires of BrickLink, so you can't necessarily judge it just based upon one thing. You can't be like, does this sell well? Does this sell well? Does this sell well? Everything will sell well if you can figure out what to put it with. That being said, you get tires. Are you also getting rims? You know, and do you have the rims that fit those tires? Do you have rims that are of a different or a more rare color, or a color that is no longer carried in quality or quantity that somebody else doesn't? Again, one-stop shopping. If you need to pair the parts, you can't just say, I'm going to go and get a poop load of these. You need to put it with something else. Those are the basics. Basics being, back to that. Man, speak up here, man. Don't let me just talk the whole hour.
Oh, yeah,
but what are your basics? What are you always throwing into your store? You know, I am fairly certain that I probably put more friend sets in my store than anybody else on YouTube, because I build a lot of friends and elves sets. You know, that's just what we do, and you need to dig what you sell. At the same time, I have really set myself up for a great situation for lots of after-school programs that are geared towards girls to come and shop in my store. And I do get people who come in from after-school programs and drop some serious dime, so that they can fund these programs, and that stuff feels good. And when somebody drops crazy cheddar, it's nice, you know, because then I can go pick up more and throw more in there. And I would love to get a ton of the new sets that they have for the fairgrounds, because they're pretty cool. The track could be better color for everybody else in the world, but it ain't that bad. And you have a new variety of track. There's now a 3L drop instead of just the 6L. Question in the comments. Take over for Willet. Have you parted out any friends?
Yes, I've done a few different small sets. I've done more elves than friends, so I actually like the bow sets. You get a nice variety of different colors, and get you darker colors in bow sets.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the crap colors that you got out of Chima. Another thing about Friends that people don't realize is Friends is chock full of white elements, and white is probably the most common color bought on BrickLink. You know, your ship builders will tell you that, oh no, it's gray, but not everybody builds ships. The majority of people don't. And it's also an incredible seasonal color that just flies off the shelves if you have it in your store, especially the 16x16 plates in white. So
I'd say white, and then dark bluish gray I always have trouble keeping stocked.
Definitely.
It's
The only thing I don't like about friend sets, of course, is the figs, and that's because they don't move as much, but they will if you start getting a whole bunch of them in there. And I'm finding if you rip them down to their 4 basic elements, you'll sell them. Of course, the hair first, followed by, head, torso, legs, if they haven't been available in other sets. Why? Because people like to go in and play dress up with their minifigs, just like they do with regular minifigs or mini dolls and minifigs. People like to dress them differently for different stuff, different situations, because there's playing going on and all that. It's not just building and that's it. There's people that actually play with their Lego.
Well, I swear I've had people actually come in buy, like I part out the figs and they come in and they part the fig back together and buy the fig again.
I've had that situation. I've also found out that after I've parted out a fig and put it into my store, that it sat, and over time, the whole fig has become has had a higher value than the parted out fig. So, for instance, I parted out 240 Series 12 like the first week they were out. It was the first series of CMFs that I did. And I'm finding now that a whole bunch of them were actually worth more now as a whole fig instead of the parts and pieces. So I've had to go and put certain ones back together. Or not necessarily, there's no back together, it's all a virtual thing. It's, they're all still in the same general area. It's just how they're presented. Sometimes, Foo, you will get people that don't know the pieces belong together, but I don't think they'd grab all 4 pieces on a random. One of the things that I've found as far as that is the arms. When you have printed arms and people don't know where they came from, Yeah, and Fubrix has the exact correct answer from Cool Kid Bricks. His question was, or his statement was, every time I upload friends figs, broken down, of course, same person drops into my store and buys them all. Foo's response is, you're probably pricing them too low. CKB's response is, average sale price. But sometimes average sale price isn't the right price. Sometimes 6 months average isn't the right price. Sometimes you need to not be afraid to go to the price guide and decide on what is a good price based upon the market. That being said, we're in the middle of a season. This is the spooky season, and people build for it. No, I'm not saying to go out there and, wreck somebody's wallet because taking advantage of the seasonal thing, but just know what's going on and try to put that into your store. So try to get oranges, try to get browns, try to get these fall colors into your store to be able to provide that for your people. But at the same time, realize that things come as a service, and as there's an unknown or unspoken sort of convenience to go and be associated with that. And you cannot be afraid of that. If there is somebody out there that is bending over backwards to provide something to you one stop, or provide exactly what you're looking for because they think what you're doing is cool, or something like that, or any of other things that a lot of people on YouTube are doing, take it as a compliment. Don't take it as them trying to take advantage of you or them anything else, because what it is they're ultimately, it's almost like an homage to you because they dig your stuff. That being said, stock up on white because winter is coming.
Good set right now. Find or pick up is the creator set, the RV. I'm saying right now for, I think, $45 it is in Walmart online. I think that's $15 off. There's a lot of white elements in there.
I did notice that I'm not a big fan of the theme, but Angry Birds has got a crazy sale going on right now.
Yeah, I haven't even touched them yet.
I just discovered that some of the green guys, whoever they are, their arms come off, so it's not a completely worthless fig. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I just said, like,
I don't know what you're going to use those. I don't know what you're going to use those things for. Like the custom printers, sure they can figure out a use for them. But you know, you and me, like, give them to the kids and let them play. Let them throw them in the wall.
Giveaways.
Let's teach them physics. So, and another once again, one of my favorite K-Falls in the comments is saying white, bluish gray, or white, LBG, DBG, black, and reddish brown are all the colors I'm running low in my personal collection, and those are all the colors that you in your store. Those are the basics. I've been saying for months, like your monochrome and your brown spectrum. Those are the basics of basics. Because that's what everybody uses, those colors in huge quantities. Those are the ones that I make it a point to stick into my store. People are always asking, what colors do you get? Those are the colors you should get. Gray and brown and tan. If you want to chase after school programs, you fill your store full of primary and secondary colors. You should always be trying to throw your store full of basic bricks, 1x1s especially, 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x10s. Get them in there. People need those for always. Tiles, same way. Plates, same way. I said it a couple weeks ago. If you are always finding yourself running out of the certain element, figure out a way to put more in your store. You know, if you're traveling to Antarctica like I am to get stuff, and you find that you're trying to keep, like I do, a minimum of 1,000 of every single color possible of 1x1 tile and 1x1 plate. And all of a sudden you're always selling out of color X, because I'm not going to tell you what it is, 1,000 at a time. Go get 2,000. If you sell out 1,500 of that 2,000, up your number to 2,500. See what happens. You know, go see what happens when you reinvest into your store. Instead of saying, well, I bought this set for $50, I got $50 back, and I've got $50 in my pocket. Because your minimum you should be going for is 2x. No less. If you're doing 1.5 part outs, you're a schlep. But take that double your money and go double down on your store and see what happens. And do it more and more and more and more and see what happens. See what kind of growth you get out of your store. You know, that has been what I have lived on from the beginning. I took my initial investment and just continually reinvested back into the store over and over and over and over and over. And that's it. And right now this is all from everything that's in my store is from a small, well, not really small, but I mean a modest initial investment. So.
One thing to keep in mind too, by having your basics in, everything else in your store will sell with the basics. But if you don't have your basic bricks and you have the specialty, they're not just going to come in and buy the specialty. You need to have that variety or you don't need the variety, but having the extras in your store besides your basics.
If you have the basics in your store, people will buy other stuff too.
Correct. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say in less words, or too many words.
No, but it's true. You've got and you got to know your basic sizes that sell too. You know, for tile, you got to know that 1x1, 1x2, 2x2, 1x4. Those are your basics. You know, anything outside of that is nice, but not necessary. And it's hard as hell for everybody to keep basic brick in your store. And know that it's a challenge that we're all trying to overcome. And there's ways to overcome it, but you got to figure that stuff out yourself, because you got to know what colors of basic bricks go with what you have in your store. Because once again, you have basically set up your clientele for your store based upon what you have parted out in the past. So if you've always done Star Wars, if you've always done this, then you should look for colors that are in that spectrum, because that's what's going to go and be paired with your other stuff that does not sell as well. You know, you're going to have, you're always doing grays, all your greebling, all your support, all your behind the scenes stuff is all grays. You want to stick gray basics in there, because that's the color spectrum that the people who are building are going off of. What do you want? What else? What else? Other questions, please. Is it time? Is it worth it to go find old gray pieces? Yes, it can be. But know that somebody can also just go out and buy a bunch of bulk old and do the same thing themselves. So you want to know where your gray is coming from. So like if you're going to go buy some bulk brick, and you can figure out a little bit of history of the brick. Like, is this giant tub here full of city, or is this giant tub here full of space? Not necessarily Star Wars, just space. You're going to get a lot higher percentage of old gray per pound than you would from city. So if you're actually chasing after for those specific colors, you know, try to get some history of where it's coming from. If you open up a bin right away and all you see is white, black, red, blue, and yellow, know that you're probably dealing with some very early 1970s sets. If you're looking to put together those old classic sets, this is awesome for you, because people are going to expect the older brick to go along with that. But if you're looking to do something else, close it up and move on to the next one. It's okay to pass on deals. That's a hard lesson that I learned late in the game. Another one is don't diss Hero Factory, Bionicle, or any of the contraction sets as that much, because you would be surprised some of the elements that are pulled out of there that are used by creators. And the difference between creators and builders is creators sort of will go outside of the bounds of what the Lego rules are, and builders follow along with what are the legitimate connection points. So both are great people. It's just different ways they do things. That being said, Bionicle should be bought for cheap, because for the most part, there are going to be duplicated lots of crap items that everybody already has. And probably like 5% of that bag is going to be useful, where the rest of it's just going to be like, everybody's already got this. Maybe rebuild some old Bionicle figs from there. It's not like it's difficult to rebuild Bionicle. It's like 20-something pieces per set on some of the classic ones. So
I guess I've never touched.
Also, if you can find old 1970s, 80s, 60s sets and stuff like that, and pair them with a set of instructions, you got a great little deal.
No, that's one thing I haven't bought is Bionicle. I've seen some of the stuff on sale, but just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Technically, if I can find that, I would be more than happy to buy it, but there ain't a lot up in my area.
Yeah, I've seen Bionicle go for ultra cheap, and I mean, I've got a lot of respect for the Bionicle creators out there and the Bionicle builders out there that do really cool stuff out of the box on their own. But man, some of those sets are just lame. They are. They might have a cool story and all that stuff to go with them, but for the most part, it's pretty lame. You know, a bunch of down thumbs for that one. But who cares? Let's see. Questions. If I have not answered your question, please retype it down below. Is it worth hunting? Is it worth hunting deals on Craigslist? It can be. It can be, but you got to know. You got to know. Looking at a unbuilt tub of random bricks, what's in there? Is the set that I'm supposed to be buying actually in there? Are the colors correct? Are the figs prints correct? Because somebody could have just slipped in a different boba, you know, or anything like that. And if you're not knowledgeable about what it's all supposed to look like, you could just be screwing yourself. Plus, take the chance of losing a kidney in the parking lot.
One thing, a lot of the stuff when you buy used like that, they throw the good stuff on top and take the picture. You see what they want you to see when you go to when they sell it. You don't know what's underneath everything.
Yeah.
So I guess to me, I'd say it's a 50-50 chance if you're buying used to.
Oh, Haley Ricks was asking what time I streamed. So we are part of the 48-hour extravaganza thing. I am not I don't know who comes after me. I don't know if anybody does. I'm hoping you guys can clarify that in comments. But it's been a very, very energetic first half hour for me, I tell you. I kind of went on a little rant there, didn't I?
Yeah, but you made some good points.
Hopefully. And yes, Antarctica is code for elsewhere in the world. But don't anyone worry, I'm not going to China. I'm not going towards any of those crazy places like that to get stuff. It's all legitimate. It's just I can't let anybody in on too many secrets. But it's all legit. Another thing. Oh, back to Craigslist and illegitimate stuff. You need to look out when you're buying that stuff. That you're not getting a tub full of Lepo, man. Because they are making identical sets. So you need to be wary. You need to know. Basically, you gotta trust your slinger. And unfortunately, in a very short time period, Lego will not be able to tell the difference between the regular and the counterfeits. And internal memos have admitted to this. But you just gotta trust. You gotta trust your bricker and know that basically they got your back and they know where they're getting their stuff from. When I go to Antarctica to get my stuff, I'm getting it from a guy in Antarctica that got it straight out of a factory in a European nation. So, because I'm not willing to take that chance. You know, I've taken the chance to make a point. When I did the Deadpool heads, but not willing to take that point or take that chance with the store. I knew what I was getting into with the Deadpool heads, and I knew that they'd be bad. As I pressed by, I knew these are definitely going to be fake.
Well, that's one thing too. I bought from other stores the book to put into the store, but they're not packaged right. The stuff's all snapped together. I won't put it into my store that way. It just goes in my personal Lego over under the table.
Yeah, I actually I made a purchase from another YouTuber about a month ago, and I was going to give their store a try. Made a video, did everything, and then started really looking at the figs. And then I started moving the arms on the figs, and they were crazy loose. And I was like, "Ah, little dude freaking sold me used for new."
It's,
you know, ended up not releasing the video, not doing a usual suspect on it, but also not saying anything because I was one of their first sellers or first buyers. But had to pull all the stuff, and the kids got a nice selection of CMFs.
yeah.
Yes, and as DC is saying in the comments, once you sell knockoff, you lose future buyers to trust, and that's exactly what it is. That's one of the scary things, because we're a brand, and we're our own brand, and you are your own brand as a seller. And if you lose that trust, it is difficult to get it back. And in the age of the internet, all you need is someone to say, like they're a fakie, and people believe it, even if you have a crazy track record, and then you got to fight back up against it. So,
that's the thing. It takes a lifetime to build a name. It only takes one person to wreck it.
Yeah, way too many internet warriors that are not knowledgeable enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. That's actually one of the reasons why so many sellers have shied away from the YouTube live streams. Is because you do put your brand. There's always that chance. There's the opportunity for poop to go wrong. You know, there's always, as DC is saying, the single detractor is always louder than the one. Is always louder than someone with praise. That's unfortunate. You know, people judge based upon 1 to 2 bad comments, than thousands upon thousands of good ones. Another thing you have to look out for if you import Lego from other BrickLinkers is, are they a smoker? Because some people don't take the right procedure in dealing with their brick. If they are, some people smoke right next to their Lego. Some people don't wash their hands after they smoke. I know quite a few smokers that are on BrickLink, and they all know that they need to wash their hands. They know they can't smoke it all around their Lego. They know that, basically, like, it can leach into it. They have to like take care of that, and that's good, and that's responsible, and that's what you should expect. I've actually gotten a neutral feedback because I imported some used parts from somebody a long time ago, like a year ago, and didn't realize that they were a smoker, and resold them and got a ding.
No, I'm a smoker, but I won't smoke in the shop or around the Lego. That's
right. And I know we've had conversations before too. Like, you wash your hands and you take care of all that, and you do it like I've seen you on the remote go out to have a cigarette, and you're like 200 yards away from your shop or more. Like, you're way out in the middle of a field, nowhere even near the doors.
that'd be one thing bad for me too. Like you say, you buy it from another seller. If they smoke, like I won't be able to smell it on a Lego. So, but most of the stores, if you read on their terms, or whatever, or their splash page, they say if it's a smoke-free or pet-free.
Yeah, but I've also found it that people that scream it the loudest are not necessarily that way. Like, we're pet-free in the shop, but we've got 17 dogs and 20 cats in the house. Pretty sure there's transference. So.
Well, have you heard anything new what the next modular is going to be?
No idea. No idea whatsoever. And then there's a whole separate side conversation now going on in chat about hair. As far as pet hair, but then it is detracted into other styles of hair. Another reason why I have trimmed up and shaved up my beard, not only because my daughter had said, Daddy, I don't know what you look like, but because I've got a long beard, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't get any hair in anything, and I didn't want to wear a beard net thing over my face. You know, I already constantly keep my hair back, and usually wear a cap or something like that when I'm working with the brick. So. Media, or November 1st will be the media release for the new modular, so expected about 3 days earlier on Eurobricks. There's a Lego store opening up in Australia in like 20 days or something. Some other. I think people are trying to ping that there's pictures already out there. Pics already out there of the new modular. My interest more is not necessarily what the new modular is, but what new molds or what new colors of molds does it bring. I was showing off earlier that we have a new color sausage. There's now a sand blue sausage that's out there. So that's pretty cool. You can now do, food poisoning mock. There's some other new elements that are flying out in the dimension sets. So, there's also a new color for those that follow the bricks. The tan brick is now available, and should be readily available on your favorite BrickTubers stores. Let's see. The food poisoning, the blue TV dinner ZZ Top sausage is over in, it's the Adventure Time with Jake the dog and Fluffy Princess Wine-A-Lot or whatever her name is. It's the arms for the little Game Boy or whatever the hell the thing is. Sorry, I don't watch Adventure Time. I'll eventually watch it when it's old enough for my kids to watch. But no idea what it is right now. And still waiting for those figs and set to get brought into BrickLink. I do have 3 of them, and I've also have 3 of the Harry Potters, or 4 of the Harry Potters. So those will be going in. I've already put up my my A-Team sets. I'm glad that people get the ZZ Top TV dinner comment and remember that video from 1980s of the, the sauce being a little too blue. But I get more excited about recolors of existing elements and new elements than I'd really do sets, because I like the opportunities that they bring, and I like I like to think about new stuff that you can do with them. So.
Well, when you're at BrickCon, did you display anything, or you just go for the experience?
I went for the experience this time because I wanted to meet some of the people in CLUG before going to a meeting.
Okay.
I'm actually a little uncomfortable around people live, so I wanted to sort of get myself gently into the waters, and I knew that Buildmeister would be there, so I knew I at least had somebody that I could pal up with, so that I wouldn't have a complete anxiety-driven breakdown.
Yeah.
When I get nervous, I talk a lot, which was why I probably was able to just go off in the first half hour, because my nerves are shot.
It's nothing like being back in the first day of school or new school.
Yeah, a little bit. It's been a weird weekend being on a lot of streams after not being on streams for a long time. Speaking of which, I've been asked, or I've volunteered sort of to put together a group of sellers that would be willing to offer up prizes for the public build on the LEGO Community Saturday streams like we used to. So I have volunteered for prizes for the next 4 weeks. So you guys who win the public build during the month of October, a new one each week, we'll get a zombie skateboarder with the skateboard and the trucks. That's exclusive to a book, so it's even more exclusive. It's one of the reprints of the original skateboarder dude, but with zombified. I happen to have 600 of them, so I thought that since October was the good scary time of year, I could offer that up as a prize.
So what do they want? What are they doing? I guess I don't remember.
Well, like I was saying, with the whole fear of you have a brand and you want to make sure your brand stays good, and sometimes when a store offers a prize to the community, there's people that automatically and always will see that as nasty, evil, capitalist, unsolicited marketing, blah blah yada, hate you. Instead of just realizing that, hey, I'm trying to do the same thing you are, which is sort of uplift my community. So people ran big time from the live streams as stores and stopped participating, sellers almost as a whole, or people who are known as being just sellers. So I'm trying to slowly lure my fellow seller man back. Get the Pusherman Society back into effect and handing out prizes to people doing the public build on the Saturday stream. I'm a full supporter of that and want to see it get going. I'm trying to get the community back into the Saturday stream like they used to be. And everybody usually likes free stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Unless you're trying to offer them lug bolt from an imaginary lug, which isn't really lug bolt, and then they absolutely freak out about it because they're anal retentive. Do I think that Mr. T-Fig will go up in price? Yes, and I'm actually interested to see what his hair goes for as is. Because his hairpiece is interesting and new, and it's definitely easily losable by kids.
Yeah, I need to pick up.
And that's also a factor in price, and you got to realize that. And it sucks, world, but that is an actual factor. Will your kid always lose this? Yes. All right. Well, it may have a higher price now because it's going to be hard as crap for me to keep in stock. Expect the piece that's on top of the Aladdin Genie to go up in price ridiculously because it also has good colors.
Have you picked up any of the Mr. T's yet?
Just the 3 that I got. I picked up 3 of them for $7.99.
Oh, nice.
Before they went on sale. If you go onto Amazon and buy it from Amazon, if they lower the price anytime during the period where it's on back order while you're waiting for it to be released, you get the best price available. So I happened to go in there during the Dimensions craziness when they had like Doc Brown for it was like $3 and something. They also had the Adventure Time and Harry Potter sets for $12.99 instead of $26, and they had Mr. T down to $8, as well as I think it was E.T. and whatever that Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts spin-off, I Want to Be a Wizard thing was lowered price as well. So if you follow the Dimensions pricing on Amazon, like once every 3 months, it'll drop down to ludicrous pricing.
Well, I'm gonna have to pay a little more attention.
I'll try to call it out when it happens again, because I want people to be able to take advantage of that sale.
Then are you limited to do just 2 of them then, or?
It's one of those. If you got quick fingers, if you got you get a little bit of the luck of the Irish thrown in there, you can leverage more than the 2 or 3 that they hold you to. I mean, if you look in my store, like I lucked out with Doc Brown, Sensei Woo, and a couple other ones, and they might have said limit 3 on the website, but when I ordered the 3 and then I went back in and got 3 more and it went through, and I got 3 more and it went through, and 3 more and 3 more and back and forth, and by the time I had 60 of them in my already purchased, it finally started saying like, all right, that's enough. So
yeah, I guess I just haven't played around with Amazon enough to know that's how they work with that.
And it's not hacking it or anything. It's just putting it back into your cart and trying to buy it again and seeing what they say. Like, just like Target says, like limit 5, or the Lego store will say limit 5.
Yeah.
But they don't always have the roadblock there if you, after you check out and pay for it, to go right back in and buy it once again. Now with Lego.com, it's going to behoove you to use to jump through a lot of hoops to avoid being recognized. If you're going to try to take that thing, you got to remember that Lego is the toughest of the tough as far as hiding yourself. They do track IP addresses. They do track MAC addresses. So you got to spoof yourself. They track addresses. They track credit cards. They track all kinds of different metrics. And it's difficult to pull one over on Lego, so maybe you shouldn't. Learn from me, and just stick with the big box stores that are supposed to follow those rules, but really don't care to, because they still, at the end of the day, they're still bowing down to the gods of commerce. Because they have people that they have to answer to, which are stockholders, whereas Lego company itself does not have anybody that they need to bow down to, because it is a family-owned company. Pretty awesome.
So with Lego, though, they say limit 5, but you're only supposed to buy 5, and not ever buy 5 more from them, I guess.
Well, you know how they say buy 5, and that you're limited to it, but if after you check out, you can go buy 5 more.
Yeah,
well, that's what flips a switch that says, hey, watch this guy.
Okay.
It doesn't say, hey, I'm going to block this guy right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, but it watches for a specific behavior, and then it may also go back and look at your previous behavior to see what your buying patterns were then. It's all algorithms, man, and it's all trackable based upon different metrics.
Yeah, I picked up, you've seen 20 sets from Lego. purchase them so many at a time, and just it's all on the same day. I haven't had no trouble with it yet, but
just gotta be careful. Just gotta be careful. Question: have you ever sold a toy soldier fig from the book? And yes, I find that to be a holiday item, and you should too, because anytime you get a little toy soldier, it's going to, people are going to think, you know, holiday period, you know, all that stuff, whatever they're called, the Nutcracker Suite, all that craziness. And that also is a reprint of a CMF, I believe, isn't it? That's one of the collectible minifigures that they actually reprinted in whole in exactness, sort of like they did with the chicken suit guy and a number of other figs that they've released over the years in books.
So are they still selling them about $20 a piece for the toy soldier?
It depends. Like I said, the price fluctuates through the years because, of course, it's going to go. People are going to drop stock during the summer, and people will restock and upstock during the holidays because it's a holiday item. It's just like the price of white goes up during the holidays.
Yeah, and you got lucky. You got what, a bunch of those books too that you found with the CMF in it.
Yeah, I got those books for like $1 a piece.
Yeah, that's the deal of a lifetime.
We'll figure it out. We'll find out.
Yeah, no, I just hopped on and checked. They know they're roughly.
I mean, if I did not get an amazing deal with freight shipping on pallets for it, it would not have been a great deal. Like if I was not able to figure out how to ship those because they refused to pull them out of the books, so I had to get the books along with them. It got you know, it could have been bad.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the foresight to contact a person at that company who was dealing with shipping and talk to them directly, it could have gone very bad because they had, it was like, even though the book was like $1, it was still like $4.99 each for shipping if I had gone directly off of the web page for the site that I bought them from. Since I called up the people by themselves and discussed it with their shipping department, they were able to offer other shipping options for me. And then I found out that they also used a different freight company that was in the area that was free for them to use. And basically I set up the shipping option and they just went along with it.
Oh, nice.
I'd like to thank Haley Bricks for putting up the 48-hour stream for everybody in the LEGO community. Really great of her to pull off the 24-hour stream. This year she was able to pull off the 48-hour stream, and really looking forward to how she pulls off the 72 next year and the 96 the year after that. So more power to her. Make sure you check out Haley Bricks. Make sure you check out the LEGO Community Saturday stream. Check out Brick Willet here. I'm going to close it off, man. I'm kind of parched. We've gone for an hour, and we did it. I don't know. Are we the leg? Are we the end of the 48 hours thing? Am I supposed to go for another however long because somebody's coming in after me, or what's up? Haley could answer that in the comments. That would be awesome.
Just says yes, big.
All right, I'm the anchor. Woohoo! Sweet. So we're gonna kill it. Go support your local brick tuber. I'm gonna say it. Support your local brick tuber. Everybody's got different deals going right now. Everybody's got different things that they throw in their store. Everybody's here to support you. If you learned anything on these seller stream from anybody who's been on them in the past or in the future, make sure you go out or reach out and support these folks. You know, they literally are telling you how to make money, and you know, in some ways they are taking money out of their own pockets and giving it to you. So show them a little bit of love and go buy some of their brick. Go buy some of mine if you want, but support the local team. So that's it. That's all. I'm Big B on Brick. This is Brick Willet.
Have a good night, guys.
Castle Dude. I'm Sculpture Dude. Check you later.